Hello, everybody. Thank you for agreeing. Well, I didn't really ask you to, but thanks for meeting me at noon on Friday instead of Thursday at 7. I wanted to do an eye makeup tutorial. I always do some kind of green eye makeup for St. Patrick's Day. And we've been doing our Thursday night skincare, but I thought let's do something earlier in the day so that if you want to put your makeup on with me, it would make more sense to do it, during the daytime. And as you all know, I'm not a morning person. So I'm Michelle Fox from Michelle Fox Beauty. And today we are indeed doing a green eye makeup look. So here's the deal. I tend to use matte colors that are very natural, and they kind of go from like an ivory color to like a medium brown to a deeper brown, and they're pretty easy to blend. I also have very funky eyes that are totally different sizes and shapes. And so I tend to use very deliberate placement. And so when I personally try to use a color other than a real natural color, so when I'm using navy or green, I tend to go overboard, okay? Because I'm used to using these natural colors and placing them in really specific area of my eye in order to, I'm kind of redesigning my eyes so that they match. And so I use brushes that are small and dense, and I have like a really specific strategy. So if you've ever followed me, you've seen me do that. So then when I try to use a dark color or something kind of out of my wheelhouse, I tend to not really know what to do with it. So green is one of those colors that, and it doesn't matter what brand or what shade of green or whatever, there's just something about it that I'm not sure where to put it. I'm not sure what brush to use. So I'm going to follow these instructions like very specifically. I'm going to show you the page that I'm referring to in a sec. But I have been kind of looking through some other bloggers and trying to figure out like, what is my problem? And if you have anything to contribute, be my guest. As a matter of fact, as you're watching, be sure to say hi. Let me know where you're watching from, and follow along if you want to. It's always kind of fun to do your makeup with me. But this is what I think is my issue. I'm not a less is more kind of person. I'm a more is more. And I think when you are dealing with these deeper colors, I think you really need to start with a wash of color, like a light wash of color, and then add as needed. And that has never been my style. And so I've been thinking about, well, how does that happen exactly? Because most of the brushes that I use, that is not how I would describe what it does. They're more precise. And so that's something we're going to talk about today. Normally, I talk about the difference between light and dark and blending and how you can adjust the shape of your eyes using that concept, shading and such. Today, we're going to talk more about the size and the style of your brush and how that is going to affect how the product lays down. Isn't that exciting? So I got some different brushes. I actually had them. I've got a bajillion brushes, but I'm pulling out different brushes and thinking, okay, we're going to try these and see what happens. And I actually tried it yesterday, epic fail. So today we're starting fresh, clean slate. And so I'm honestly, a work in progress, but I'll explain my rationale as we go through. So this look has, and this is another interesting thing, it has a combination of moss green and emerald green, which again, I'm very matchy. And so I never would think to put those two in one look. You know what I mean? Like a warm, earthy green and like a jewel tone green. But indeed, these are the shades that are going together. So this could not be more out of my comfort zone than it is. So why do I choose to do these things? I like to learn. So yes, I love Mary Kay Chroma Fusion. They blend really well, and they have a lot of saturation, a lot of color, power. And Emerald Noir is gorgeous. I just personally Have not figured out how to apply it. And usually when I do use it, it's kind of muddy looking because I mean, I hate to keep going on about myself, but if I just use a little bit in the outer corner, then you can't really tell that it's green. It just looks dark. And then if I put more on, which I'm always thinking more, I need more, then it just is crazy. You know, I just have too much. So this whole wash of color thing, I think, is the answer, but we got to figure this out. Okay. We will figure this out. So I've already done my moisturizer and everything. I always do my skincare before I do my makeup. It really does make a difference. I've done foundation, concealer. I put my brows on. Let's see. I want to be fully disclosed. I did put like some finishing powder just to set my foundation. And I put some mascara on just because you can't see my lashes at all without it. And let me put the instructions up here so you can kind of see what's happening. So I'm gonna put my eyeballs back on a second. So this is what we're going to be doing. Oh, you can't really read that. It's so teeny tiny. But the Emerald Noir is going to go along the upper lash line, just like a really thin line. We're going to be chatting about that. And then that is followed with black eyeliner. And then on top of that, we're going to put black eyeshadow to set that liner and also kind of smudge it out. And then the moss is what is going all over the eyelids and up onto the brow bone using a blending brush. I'm actually going to use something that's even bigger and fluffier. I really want to make sure I'm getting a wash of color. And that's it. So that's the other thing that's really different for me is that we're not using a highlight and we're not using a mid-tone. So this could not be more different. All right. And mascara I've already applied, but I'll probably put a little more on. Golden copper on the cheeks. I did not have a mauve nude, but I've got something really close, but we are using the rosewood and the nude blush. And here we go. Okay. So this will be interesting. So the first step was to use the emerald. It said to use like the blending brush, which is, let's see, I've got it nearby. Okay, this is such a bummer because I can't see without my glasses, but then I can't really do my makeup with them on. Oh, the trials and tribulations. So this is the brush that it recommends. It's just kind of an angled brush that, goes in the crease of your eye really well. But again, just because of my needs, my concerns and all, I want to get it really close to my lash line. And I want to really see the emerald. Okay. So in this case, I do want to stick with the type of brush that I typically use, which is going to be dense and small. And so I'm pulling out this brush that has just kind of a smaller head. And I'm going to pick up the emerald. And this time around, I'm not really worried about, a wash of color. I just want to keep it close to my lashes. That's probably the biggest concern. Interesting story about this brush. You probably won't believe me, but it's true. When I was in college, back before the interwebs, magazines would have like kind of contests or whatever. And when the magazine would be released, there would be like, the first 50 people that send in a postcard, will get this free thing. And they were giving away a set of brushes. And I was one of the first 50 people. We're talking like 1985. And this is from that set. I still have it all these years later. Isn't that crazy? Glamour magazine, 1985. Good brushes, eh? All right, so this is my emerald green, just like a line of it. Can you see? Straight across. And then it did say to kind of bring it up a little bit at the end, which thank goodness, because my eyes are super droopy. So that means at the end, you don't have to be so close to your lash line. You can kind of bring that up a little bit. So one thing that I know will be true when this look is all said and done, my eyes will not be really balanced because they are so freaky. but that's not the point. The point is to learn how to do a wash of color. Okay. And if you want to comment, feel free. I see a couple comments, but I can't see them. I mean, I see them, but I can't. You know what I mean? I have an eye appointment on the 22nd. I can't wait. Hopefully they will say, we can do this magic procedure and you'll be all better. And one thing that I love, and it's important to find a shadow that this is true, is you want to find a shadow where there's not a lot of fallout. And that's like where the stuff sprinkles all over the place. And so I am using Mary Kay Chroma Fusion, very little fallout. When there is a lot of fallout, it's like getting in your eye and you're kind of, your eye is watering, and it kind of is an indication that it's a lesser quality product and it's just harder to work with. So this is an emerald. It's called Emerald Noir, but any kind of jewel tone green would work. And just the idea is that it's going just really close to your lash line. All right. So far, so good. So I just used a really dense, small head brush. This might be called like a contour brush, an accent brush, a liner brush. Every line calls it something different. All right, now we're moving on to something a little more complicated. So we're going to line with a black liner. And okay, let me show you this lady again. She looks very natural. Okay, like this is not a dramatic look. I would say this is a very natural, like a daytime look. So that is my challenge, because when I am picturing me lining and then going over it with black, I'm picturing not that, not daytime, not natural. So I'm going to have to really be careful. So obviously it is possible to look natural. So my trick, or what I always tell people when I sit down with them, to get close to your lashes, you want to be so close that it tickles, and it's almost like you're picturing that you're coloring your lashes rather than thinking about lining your eye. And rather than just going like left to right, just do like really short, like connect the dots, because it is hard to learn how to line your eye initially, but you will get the hang of it. All right. First, all right, let me stop talking. And the sharper, your point is, the easier it will be too. Okay. So I'm trying not to be too crazy here. Yesterday, okay, hold on. I'm barely putting anything on. Okay, I got to be a little more. I got to be honest here. Yesterday, I decided to try tight lining, which is where you go underneath. I thought, well, that would, be even closer. It would look even more natural, but I don't know. I didn't feel like it looked very natural. So I'm not doing that. Plus, that's not how the instructions say to do it. I want to do it how the instructions say. Okay. I really am putting it on, but ever so little. I just want to be careful, because yesterday I hated it. Like I had it on way too much. And then I went and got my hair done, feeling like a fool, because I just felt like it was like way, way, way too much. So I just went as gently and as lightly as I could this time around. Okay. And then, oh, you know what? I didn't grab hold that thought. Instead of using my compact, I got samples just to make sure that they didn't have any, they didn't have any other stuff from the colors nearby. I wanted it to be really true. I forgot to get my onyx. Hold on. Oh, man. And of course, I can't see. Talk amongst yourselves. What are you guys doing for St. Patrick's Day? When I was young, we always used to do something cool. We used to go out, I didn't drink green beer, but, the green beer and corned beef and all that kind of stuff. But now we don't really do anything. Okay, here we go. So I'm using like little individual samples just so that, like I said, so that they're really fresh. I want to give you a really good impression here. So this time I'm using a really, really skinny brush, just like a liner brush. We just want like literally to go along the line. So I'm not trying to get a smoky look. I'm just trying to set that. I don't know what their point is, but I just want to set it. It also makes your lashes look thicker. So I'm pretty much using the same concept where I'm just kind of dab, dab, dab. Right now, the Mary Kay liners are waterproof, but before they were waterproof, I used to do this all the time to set the liner. They really never smudged, in my opinion, but I just would always do this just as that extra step. And then again, I'm going to bring it up a little bit at the end. A little bit. I feel like I'm doing better than yesterday. Okay. Things are looking good. So does it seem weird to you that we're not using a mid-tone or like a highlight? I always use those three. I always use like the lightest, on my lid and under my brow, mid-tone in the crease, and then the darkest like in the outer corner. So this is so different for me. I don't really go outside of, like I have like my way, and that's how I do it, like pretty much all the time. Okay. Okay. So not too crazy. So far, so good. Okay. Good. Okay. Then the next one that I'm supposed to use, I have a lot of supposed tos. I'm supposed to use this for the moss. Okay. This is just like a traditional blending brush. I'm sure it would be fine, but just to be extra, extra, extra careful, I'm using this giant one because the idea is that the bigger and fluffier it is, the more it's going to like kind of just dispense, whatever. It's going to spread a thin layer of that color. Whereas I typically use something, let's see, I use something that's really concentrated. I use something that's really, the bristles are really close together like this. So I have to learn how to do this. Here we go. So I'm using moss now. So we started with an emerald green, like a jewel tone green along the lash line. Went over it with black, both with the liner and then the shadow. I'm stalling. All right, and now we're doing moss green. And it's supposed to look really natural. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of dab, dab, dab. I'm gonna tap it off a little bit. I'm a little bit terrified. Okay. All right. So should I dab or swish? I think I'm going to dab. I'll start in the middle. I think I'm doing it. I think I'm doing it. Woo! Okay, now here's where I'm going to want it to like be even. And then I keep going over it and going over and going over. And then I end up getting it like too high and I get too many layers. And so then it ends up like way, way dark. So let me pause and look at it. Okay, I think it's actually pretty even. Okay, where are you? It's pretty even, isn't it? Okay. I'm so excited. All right, let me do this one. Okay, tap. So this, I do this instead of blowing because when you blow on it, the moisture of your breath, I don't know. I used to I think officially it like can make bacteria or whatever, but actually it can kind of make the stuff stick on there. So sometimes I like it to stick on there. So like when I use this, I blow on it because I kind of like the moisture. I don't know. Okay, hold on. Okay, I gotta remember what I did. So I went in the middle. So I got this big fluffy brush. I'm going right in the middle. Boom, 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 boom. And then I kind of went right and left, but not too crazy. And then it said to bring it up to the brow bone, but it didn't say to bring it all the way to the brow. And she definitely had, you know, like the color of her flesh, you could see up under the brow. So not all the way up. Okay. All right. So this is where I want to keep going, but stop. And then, okay. Something to keep in mind is that, you know, your eyes aren't probably exactly the same. They're probably better than mine, but they're not the same. And so you want to be looking for like the same intensity, to have things like at about the same height and things like that. But there are going to be nuances that are different. Like your eyebrows are not exactly the same, but you know, you want them to be the same depth, you know, the same darkness, to be about the same length and that kind of stuff. So you're not looking for perfection. You just want there to be some sense of symmetry, but it's not going to be perfection. Okay. So release yourself from that. Okay. So the question is one darker than the other? So my heart is like, my heart's racing. Okay. I want to take a clean, fluffy brush and okay, well, we'll use this one, the one I was supposed to use. And I want to go under my brow because I think I got it a little too high. And I just want that a little cleaner. What we could do, but I'm not, because I don't want to take too much time. But we could even take like some concealer on a brush and like go right under here to like really make that more precise. But I think we're good. And then maybe in here, I clean this up too. Okay. So it feels a little muddy to me just because I'm used to there being like a really light color under my brow. What do you think? I don't know. All right. We're going to leave it for now. And then this look does not have anything underneath. Here's something to think about. As we age, you know, our eyes get droopier. And so a lot of us are used to lining underneath. I don't know why, but like when I was younger, I only lined underneath. But something to think about is as you age, to line only on top. It's lifting. You want to put more emphasis on the top so that people's eyes are drawn up. Because I wear glasses and a lot of what's up here is covered, I line top and bottom usually just because, you know, to try to give you something to see because you really can't see my makeup very well. But if I didn't wear glasses, I would only line the top. And I'm just putting a little more of this. This is Lash Love Lengthening. And I will say this, that your mascara is impacted not just by the formula, but by the wand itself also, by the length of the bristles, you know, how many bristles there are. So, so that's an interesting thing, I think. And you want to start at the base of your lash and wiggle it so that you're engaging all of your lashes. And if it has different length or different type of bristles, then you need to turn it so that you're experiencing all the different bristles, so that you're getting the benefits of all the different bristles. This is not like that. This is just, you know, one way. Simple, which I like it. Okay. So now we're doing a cheek color that I actually have a hard time using as well because it's dark. And again, I tend to go overboard. You know, that's my personality, I guess. So this is a typical cheek brush. And I thought I'm going to use a bigger, like a more of a, like an all over brush. Again, same concept. You know, the more concentrated, the tighter the bristle, the more of a deposit of color it's going to provide, you know, the deeper the color. And wherever you first lay that color down, that's where the most color is going to be. That's where your, you know, the deposit of color starts. When you've got a bigger, fluffier brush, when the bristles are not so tight, then you are spreading it more thinly. So I want to do the same with this cheek color. It's called Golden Moss. And I know in theory that any complexion, you know, any like light, medium, dark should be able to wear it. But I always feel like it looks like a little bit much on me. But I think it's because I, you know, my issues. So let's see. And with summer coming, thank God, I like to start wearing my blush a little higher so that it looks more like the sun has been hitting my cheeks. So I'm going to kind of be up in here. And then this is funny too, because when I watch this is, and if you know the answer to this, let me know. When I watch makeup tutorials, they do like a really light wash and it looks, you know, really, really pretty and you can see it. And I think, oh my gosh, that's so gorgeous. But I feel like when I go really light and then with the bright lights of the, you know, that I'm on when I'm on video, it looks really washed out. So I put more on so that you can see it, but then it doesn't have that real soft, natural look. So I don't know how you find the balance there, but that's all right. And I don't usually do like a warm undertone, but you're supposed to, or like ideally your perfect cheek color is supposedly like the color of your cheeks when they're flushed. And this is what color my cheeks are when they're flushed, but I don't like it. So funny. I always go with more of a kind of a plum or like a wine color. I don't know. We always want what we don't have, right? I think I have more on one side than the other. So today I'm not doing like contour and highlight and all that good stuff. We're just keeping it really simple. So yeah, okay. I don't know. I don't know about the eyes. Okay, I think I just have to get used to it. Like, can you tell it's green? Okay. All right. Moving on. The lips are supposed to be a mauve nude. And what is this? I think this is like a medium nude or something because I didn't have mauve. Close enough. When you line your lips, you want to do like this is called the Cupid's bow. So you do that little V. And then just like with lining your eyes, you know, when we just try to do line, you know, line, it's hard to stay in place. So you just kind of do like short strokes. If you just kind of think of like dash, 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 it's easier that way. So, and I just try to keep it like right on that line. Yeah, if you want, you know, bigger lips, you can go slightly outside. If you want smaller lips, slightly inside, but the key word slightly. It can really look ridiculous, you know, if you overdo it at all. So you've got to really practice that. So there was a day when people just kind of went overboard with that. And sadly, your lips start to get a little uneven as you age as well. You know, maybe not sadly, but it ain't happy. I try to age with grace. And the reason why we open our mouth when we do this stuff, it does relax our face. There's something about it. But Okay. So when you're coming up with like what color should you line your lips, you've got two choices. You can either stick with something that is going to be like a natural color, like work with the color of your lips, or work with the color of your lipstick. All right. Unless you're on purpose trying to create contrast, which that is a look too. But that is not what we're doing today. We're just doing something really natural. The lipstick is called Rosewood, which is pretty much the color of my lips. So it doesn't really show up much, but that's all right. And since the liner is a little darker, I'm going to try to blend that a little bit. I used to always do lipstick with a brush, but it's been a long time since I've done that. Okay, and then gloss. For the gloss, I didn't have one open, so I'm using a sampler. Do I have a thingamajiggy? And this is Soft Nude. It's a cream. There's no shimmer to it. So again, it should look real natural. I think I need to get a applicator. All right. If you are over 40 and you don't wear lip gloss because you feel like it's too sticky or it doesn't last or it's too young, you might not have found the right brand yet, because that's how I felt. And when I tried the gloss, the gloss that I've been wearing, it changed my mind. All right. Because when you can find one that lasts and that isn't super sticky, it is very youthful and it really makes your lips feel great. And it's just like the opposite. It makes you feel amazing. So, okay. So now let's compare. Let's compare me to this other chick. All right, let's bring her on. Let's add her to the screen. Okay. Okay. How can I make us the same size? I don't think I can. No, I don't know how. I don't know how. Well, I think all things considered, it turned out pretty well. What I have, let me see if I can show you. So whether you are watching on Facebook or YouTube, either way, I've got a way for you to get all these instructions and stuff. So let me see what I can do so I can explain it better. So this is on my website, so you can easily go there. I gave you the link for sure on Facebook. The link is there. And so this shows you step by step everything that I did, and it includes the products. But then there is also, I have a, oh, that's not going to take you to the right place. I have this handout that I made quite a while ago. It's 5 must-have makeup updates for women over 40. And after it goes through the different updates, it gives you like several different makeup looks. And it includes, one of the looks includes the smoldering moss look. So you would have all the instructions in that booklet as well. So, all right. So very cool. So now let me look at all the comments here. So you use Emerald Noir on the lids and Merlot in the corners. How pretty is that? We need a picture. That sounds gorgeous. That sounds so pretty. But like for me, that just seems like it would be challenging because they're both intense colors. So tell us everything. Like, what brushes do you use? What's your technique? Like, we want to know everything. But that sounds gorgeous. It really does. I need to think outside the box more often. Like I say, I do like beige, brown, dark brown. So it's a challenge for me to do beyond that. So this was fun. I had fun with it. Hopefully you got something out of it. Let's see. In the YouTube description, I've got a place where you can click if you want samples. But of course, just reach out to me if you ever want samples, want recommendations, you wanted me to discuss with you how this can be incorporated into your routine, all of that. I'm here for you. Hopefully you got something out of this, whether you are into greens or not. Maybe just the discussion about the brushes was something that you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments if you learned anything or if you have something to contribute to the conversation. If you're watching afterward, give us a hashtag replay. And next week, we'll probably come back and start talking about the skincare again. We are doing a skincare challenge. It started 2 weeks ago today. And I personally started using retinol. And it's kind of funny because I wanted my before picture to really show how bad it was. And what's hard about that is that to really see the wrinkles and the freckles and the, the age spots and the texture and all that, it's like you need good light. But then if you have a lot of light, it kind of hides your wrinkles because the white like washes out your wrinkles. You know what I mean? Like the wrinkles, you can see the wrinkle because of the shadow. And so then the light gets rid of the shadow. And so then you can't see the wrinkles. So I'm like, okay, so I need the light, but not too much light. So I took probably 40 pictures before I figured which one was going to be my before picture. So then today was like my week 2. I was trying to take a week 2 picture. And then I'm looking at it next to my before picture. And so now I'm trying to figure out which one of the week 2 pictures looks better than the week 1 or the first one. Oh my gosh, what a tangled web we weave. But it just really goes to show you that you have to be careful what you believe when you see the different before and afters, like, on Facebook and TikTok and stuff, unless it's from a professional in a studio, like a clinical study, that some of that stuff, with lighting and time of day and frankly, filters and all that, you just don't know what you're seeing. But the point of this isn't to convince anybody other than myself that it's making a change. And that's what the challenge is about. For those of us that want to hold ourselves accountable, to choose something to use consistently, to see the change in ourselves. And we are all taking our own pictures every 2 weeks, up to 8 weeks, and to see the change. So it's all about, our own happiness, our own, whatever. But it is kind of funny that right now, in particular, my eyes looked really baggy, and I thought, well, maybe I'm just more tired today. So maybe I'll take my after picture tomorrow. I don't know. So, but thanks so much, you guys. Be sure and say hi in the comments. I see you watching, but I don't see a whole lot of people saying hi in the comments. I appreciate that so much. And if you got anything out of the video, like it, share it with a friend, and be sure to come back next week. I appreciate you very, very much. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to my channel. If you're watching on Facebook, make sure you're following Michelle Fox Beauty, and I will see you next week. Thanks again.